Hello everybody, today we are going to discuss the 12th chapter of The Invisible Man, and the title of this chapter is The Invisible Man Loses His Temper. Though his temper was never under control, and in this chapter it goes completely, we can say, out of control. He was all rash and he was quite mad. He was behaving like a maniac, a mad person. So before this, in the 11th chapter, we discussed that how Huckster, the general shop owner, saw Mr. Marvel running and he also ran behind him. So it is some of the things that happened in the 11th chapter we'll see and we'll discuss in detail here in 12th chapter as well, because when Dr. Cuss and Mr. Bunting were there in the parlor, Teddy Henry and Mr. Hall were there out at the tap in the bar, and they heard some sound, some thud against the door, some whispers, and they doubted, they got suspicious. Again there was some muffled conversation, some subdued conversation, and a sound. So now they came closer to the parlor door and they said, "Hello." Mr. Hall said, "Hello." So the sounds got silent again. There was silence. There was no conversation then. Again it started, that whispers and those subdued conversations. Again this Mr. Hall said, "Hello, are you there? Are you all right?" Mr. Bunting responded, "Yes, we are all right, and don't disturb, please don't disturb." And there was silence again. Now Henry also heard that they were saying that don't disturb us. I heard that. And again it was like, don't, please don't. And this kind of conversation was there. Of course the invisible man was inside. So what we discussed earlier, the part of that is coming here in this chapter. An invisible man was threatening them and they were whispering and saying like this. So they got very much suspicious. They came close to the parlor, started listening to all what was happening there, and again all those sounds. And meanwhile what happened, Mrs. Hall came to the tap and the bar. Tap here is actually the tap or the container from which one can have liquor. So it's that bar section, the pub section. So Mrs. Hall came there and she saw Henry and Mr. Hall standing there trying to listen. So Mrs. Hall got angry and she said, "Hey, what are you doing there? It's such a busy day and you have nothing to do and you are listening what?" So he said, he tried to explain that they heard voices, they heard sounds, but Miss Hall was not ready to accept all that. And of course she was always dominant, so she asked him to move out of that place, go away and let them do their work, let them not be disturbed. Henry also tried to explain, but she wouldn't believe. He said that we heard the sound of furniture. She said that they might be moving the furniture, so that's why you might have heard sounds, and now you move away. Now suddenly then they heard the window of the parlor room, the sound of that, and at once he pointed out, "Yes, I heard the window there in the parlor room." And then it was the huckster calling, "Stop, thief," and running towards the church corner. They heard that, and then they also, Mr. Hall and Teddy Henry and the other people who were at the tap, they all started running out and they saw Huckster running. And In this, all people who were running pell-mell, helter-skelter, they believed, they thought that the man who was running was Invisible Man and had come again. And here, that first it was the huckster who fell down. Of course, we know what happened in the last chapter, that he caught his shin and then he fell down. And then it was Mr. Hall who got a kick and he fell down, and while going down he caught the laborer with him and he brought him down as well. And the other one who was running after them, he thought that they perhaps might have tripped or got, so he was running behind them, and suddenly then it was his number and he also fell down, he was also kicked. And by that time Mr. Hall got up, but again there was a kick and he again fell down. The laborer felt something, he was being ankled and he was stripped again. And the other Teddy Henfrey also got a kick and felt a hit behind his ear. So these people were now started, there was a panic, people were getting frightened, running here and there, and now they were like the sounds of say shutting doors and tumult of people trying to find places to hide for them. So all such noises were there. Some other people also came out, like the proprietor of Coconut Shy, he also came out and was running, and he was also knocked down. And by this time Mrs. Hall, who was watching all these people going rushing and all these, she didn't go out. And suddenly then what happened, Dr. Kuss came back and he went to the parlor and he said, he has come back, he is coming, he is coming. He said, who? That Invisible Man, he is coming now. This Bunting tries to cover himself. He said to Mrs. Hall that he had, Dr. Kuss, when came out, he ran shouting that he had taken my trouser and every stitch of Mr. Bunting's clothing. So hold him, don't let him drop the parcel. Actually, he was not aware that Marvel was also there with him. So not knowing that, he was running after that. But now, after being kicked and being knocked down, he returned and he told him that, see, that Invisible Man is coming, so you please, you manage, you escape and all. So Bunting, who was trying to cover himself with the hearth rug, hearth means, that stove, that fireplace, so that stove, so with hearth rug is actually the mattress, so he tried to cover himself with the hearth rug and the newspaper, some gazette. So with that, now he was not knowing, or he was unable to decide now what to do, from where to escape. And then he decided to clamber down the window, and he got down the window and escaped, ran away from there. Meanwhile, all these people, the Invisible Man came back, and they heard the sniff of him, his sound. Dr. Kuss recognized that sound, that it was the Invisible Man. He thrashed and broke all the window panes there in the coach and horses, and beat everybody, thrashed everybody who came in his way, knocked them down, and broke all the things, the furniture, whatever he could lay his hands on, he broke all that. He even cut the cable wires, and it was actually as if he was doing it for the sake of fun. He was enjoying that destruction, he was enjoying breaking things, he was having fun doing all that. And finally, when it was all done, then he ran away from Iping for good. Then there was no sound of his, there was nothing breaking, no such thing happened. He was all vanished, disappeared from Iping, and after that nobody heard him, nobody felt his presence. It was all over. So this is all about the Invisible Man loses his temper, that how he lost his temper and what did he do there when he lost his temper, what havoc he caused and created, what destruction he wreaked there in Iping. So that is all in this 12th chapter. So for the rest, what happened next, we'll see or we'll watch in the 13th chapter. So till then, thank you very